Oh, shoot. We're live. Oops. Oh, well. Good morning, everybody. We are live. Jason had to go grab a cup of coffee. Yeah, I just started live. It's all good, man. I accidentally clicked the thing. I'm sorry. I apologize.
You son of a bitch.
Son of a bitch. Yeah, dude. So what was I going to say? I was going to say something about comics. I forgot, right?
No.
Comics?
On this show, never.
No, we don't like comics in this show. Am I
We're
slow?
here to talk to you about the newest issue of Home and Gardens.
Do they even make that anymore?
I don't know. They might have went out of business as soon as like HGTV happened.
Am I acting? Do I look weird? Am I slow?
You don't look slow, but your background looks like you're in warp speed.
Yeah, that's what I meant to do. Yeah. Hey, what's going on, Michael Baker? Hey, D Percy, what's going on? Gnomes and hard. No, legit, man. They like don't make magazines anymore. I was at Barnes and Noble last week, and I was trying to find some Sports Illustrated type stuff, but I couldn't find anything Sports Illustrated. I was kind of disappointed.
They're probably like, there's an app for that.
I know, dude. Yeah, I'm just trying to test my background. I kind of off topic, but my laptop, I spilled coffee on it on Friday. Was it like Friday morning? First thing, I just went bam everywhere. And I usually do our streams from my living room, which I'm now in like the other part of the living room, and I don't know if I like this whole thing, but I don't want to spend $1,300 on a new laptop. So,
did you not try the Revive materia?
I only had Revive level 1, and Apple said I needed Revive level 4, which cost $979. And so I said, you know what? I'll just use my iMac PC
like,
for
what
now.
What do you have in a used model?
I know, dude. Like Apple had like. The dude kind of looked at me and was like, yeah, so it's going to cost like, $980. Do you want to get it fixed or do you just want to get a new laptop? And I was like, oh my God, I got this laptop a year ago. It's basically like saying like, do you want a new engine or do you want a new car? That's basically what he said. So anyway, we got 3 live today. Thanks everyone for joining in. And just for the sake of, because I made this, why don't we do our intro? Cool. And yeah. How did you watch the fight last night? The Garcia Davis fight? That's a boxing match.
I was at the Sounders match actually.
What time was that at?
Sounders?
Yeah.
So they played at 7:30. The Mariners played at 6:30, and then the Kraken started at 7. So I'm just like, there's just like way too many people like jammed into that city last night.
So wait, what time did this 7:30 is that? Or sorry, 6:30 is when the Sounders game started?
7:30. They were the latest out of the sports games in Seattle.
But
they were over before.
But so the Mariners game and the Sounders game overlapped, and then the Kraken was going on. So every stadium was actually had something going on all at the same time.
Yeah.
Holy cow, dude! I was getting lunch and I was getting dim sum at like I want to say noon, and I went to park at this like parking lot because it's always hard to find parking in Chinatown, and I'm parking at this place, and me and my friend Shannon. I go to like pay for like, the parking, and it was like $37. I was like, what the heck? But dude, that's crazy. Cause like, why would the game be going on if like, why would they charge that much if the game was going on for like another 7 hours? It's insane. But so we ended up going to another place. So
yeah, they did that to us so I had a concert last Sunday at Showbox Soto.
Oh yeah.
7 o'clock.
Yeah.
It was $31 to park in the parking thing right there because it was still at Mariners rates. And I'm like, dude, the game was over like 2 hours ago.
Oh,
like,
shoot.
what he's still charging 31 for.
The guy just like got too lazy and didn't want to like change it over to regular rates, I bet.
Well, no, it's like one of those like weird ones where you have to like scan the QR code or whatever now and do it all there.
Yeah.
And it was like the only option for parking was $31.
Yeah, he probably was like, screw it, I'll just leave it at $31 for all the concert people. That's still pretty far from Mariners parking, though. I guess. I don't know. What's up, Wade? Wade, you were the inspiration for the show today, by the way. Wade, or Jizzy, or what do you want to call him? He had messaged me and kind of sent in the chat last week, like, what are your guys' favorite comic books? And so I asked Jason on Friday, and then the day just kind of left me yesterday. Like, what are the 5 books that you appreciate, or like, you know, what are your, I wouldn't say grails. I guess you could call them grails, but these aren't like your, well, if I had. This is more of like what we actually have, and no BS, or like, this isn't really necessary speculation. I did a little bit of a market report on these books as well. And I think just because like we've been talking about this on the Radar show, like comics are tough right now. Comics are tough if you're not patient. Comics are tough if you're looking for a new kind of story that adheres maybe to like our kind of demographic, that being 40-year-old men that grew up watching X-Men 95 and all that, which is could it be a bad thing? Could it be a good thing? I kind of akin it to like, I don't like today's hip hop. It doesn't necessarily mean it's not bad music. I don't think there's any such thing as bad music, except if you're Rebecca Black. Anyway, God, that Friday song was horrible. But I just don't really like it for whatever reason. I think the last real hip hop artist I can fully say like that was a true hip hop artist in my opinion was, and I'm not a big music guy at all. Kendrick Lamar was like the last true hip hop guy in my opinion, but that's just
just on that topic. I was like, you should check out Cordae and
Cordae.
Lucas. Yeah, Cordae, Cordae.
Okay,
and
cool.
Joyner Lucas. They're both some of the Joyner Lucas is kind of blown up a little bit more. Like his first couple albums, like nobody really knew who he was, and then his newest, he came out with I forget what the name of that album was called, but one of his newer albums kind of catapulted him into fame, and Eminem's been outspoken on him and stuff, and had him stuff like that. So
okay,
those are like, because I'm the same way. I'm like, most of the hip hop I listen to is like old, like Wu-Tang, Tribe Called Quest, freaking
J. Cole's that too. Forgot about him. Yeah, Tribe Called Quest.
I consider him new though. He's been around for like 15 years or so now. I mean, I guess like when I'm thinking new, like just came out. I'm thinking like Migos, stuff like that. It's just like I just people like it and whatever. I can't get into it. Every once in a while, I'll hear a song and I'm like, all right, cool. But it's just like it's not a Tribe Called Quest. It's not Wu-Tang. It's not freaking Dre, Snoop, Ice Cube, like E40, like all these guys that I grew up on. Mobb Deep.
Yeah. Mumble rap is weak, and yeah, man, like I just don't like it, but like if you want to listen to that, cool, because I'm sure like when we were growing up, like Eminem's dumb. He's like sounds like which at first he kind of was like different, but it's just different, it's just different sound. And yeah, man, Too Short was like the dude or one of the dudes, like top 10 in like my opinion, but yeah, kind of back to what I mean as far as comic books is like I haven't really been reading a lot of. Well, I shouldn't say that. My pull list is pretty. It's pretty like it's okay. It's like 5 comics, but like maybe last year, I'll be honest, like I was at like 10, purely because of like the excitement of like Marvel stuff and like new characters, and that's exciting. But like we can only introduce so many new characters to the point where like Star Wars, like oh my god, there's like 17 different Jedis. It doesn't make any sense, But they don't have any. There's no like new darts, There's no new like antagonists, which I think is what really is hurting the industry. Is like you have all these great superheroes, which that's who people follow, But man, like I'll just ask you straight up, who is your favorite character, not necessarily like hero, of the past 5 years? And I'll tell you why I'm asking the question in a second. But yeah, well, who's your favorite just comic character in the past 5-6 years?
In the last 5 or 6 years?
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to make it a little smaller just because like that will kind of make sense for the show today.
Well, that's what I'm trying to think of is like, well,
It's
I
tough,
guess
right?
is Swordmaster within that realm?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because I do enjoy that character and where they're kind of going with it.
Yeah.
So, but it's like I'm saying, it's for the last 5 years, it's tough for me to come up because like there's just characters that pop into your head immediately when you think of new people because it's like immediately Miles Morales pops into my head, but he's still not within that range. Came out prior to the last 5 years, so Miles is like so for me it's Null. Oh yeah, I guess that was within that time frame. Was that 2018?
2018, 2018. Chat, if you can confirm, that'd be great. And the reason I feel like Swordmaster is probably like a close like one, just because it hit so many nostalgic like hits for you and me with Final Fantasy and like anime and all that stuff. But particularly Null was so like he was so new, and like I really like heroes that are, it just seems impossible for them to be like defeated, or just are like badass and all encompassing, and then kind of has a tie towards like key characters, like obviously he's a symbiote, and then just like the deep kind of origin that is just like, oh, that's so different and new and like crazy. And now he's like dead or like defeated.
I was like, I hope they do something more with him, because I was like, they brought in this cool character, and like you said, you're like, oh man, this guy is so powerful, like he's never gonna get defeated in this. And then they just do him dirty, like they're just like, oh, just kidding.
Yeah,
it was like watching. Do you ever watch that show Lost back in the day,
dude?
No.
Yes, I did, man. I could
just end it. The smoke monster and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it was like the whole thing, and it's like it came down to it at the end, and then he just gets like shot in the back, and they kick him off a cliff, and I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, that's how you got rid of this thing? I was like, for like 10 seasons, you were, or like what was it, 6 seasons or whatever?
17
you were like afraid
seasons,
of this thing, and it was like this entity you couldn't deal with, and then you're like, just kidding, bam, kick him off. Spoiler alert. I mean, this is like a 20-year-old show, but
I don't remember how like he got defeated, but I do remember like the Null presence. Like everyone was freaked out about Null. Mm-hmm. The other thing too is like, as much as Donny Cates can't stick a landing, he can sure kill it in the first, second, third quarter. And just the way that he like had a plan, like it doesn't seem like there's like really a plan with stories lately. Like Null came out in the 3rd issue of Venom, and then he ended the series like at 32. So that's like a 2-year spread of like story that you can follow. Yeah. And then it was like 2 main events, right? It was the Carnage event, and then that ended. And then you had to wait a whole year for King Black. And King Black 1 through 4, in my opinion, was like probably the best read. I still reread it just for like shits and giggles or whatever, of the past like 4 or 5 years. And now lately, with like speculation, with flipping, like I can't think of a story where I'm like, oh man, this is a really cool story that lasts more than like 4 or 5 issues. I don't get excited as much anymore. That's the last time I was really excited to like be a Wednesday Warrior and like pick up that series, or just like a character or whatever. So with all that said, I've been rereading stuff that I used to like read either 5 years ago, 20 years ago, 25 years ago. And that's kind of what collecting is about, right? You buy like 100 books, and then you're like, oh, this is okay. I don't feel like this is taking up space, blah, blah, blah. And then you're like, oh, let's probably sell off like half. Like I'm never going to read these again. And then you like dumb it down from 50 books to like 25. And then you're like, really like, man, I want to hold on to this comic book because it reminds me of a good time. It reminds me of like a really cool character, or like kind of think in both of our cases, like it's it's a character that kind of like we were just either introduced recently or came out recently, and that we dig now because of whatever reason. And that's kind of the subject of our show today is comic books that we own that aren't necessarily grails like on the like normal. I like the growth of Tosin. He's hanging around. That is another one. For me, Tosin, like I got enough heroes. And I'm not like saying like that's a dumb one, but for me personally, like the Tosin stuff, I feel like if there wasn't all the Tosin excitement over the FOMO of Tosin, I'd probably be a little more interested, but I don't know. I just, other than like the FOMO-ness of Tosin, I don't feel as like I felt with Null. And that's just the version of books I like to read. Go ahead.
Well, and wasn't he introduced right in that lull of what are we going to do with the MCU Black Panther going forward? Because didn't he become popular when Chadwick Boseman passed, essentially? And they were kind of like in limbo, like who's going to be the next next Black Panther? Like, are they going to have another Black Panther? Are they going to even do another movie? And then they kind of continued on, obviously, the way that they weren't. But wasn't he kind of like in that time frame of popularity?
So I think Tosin came out like in March of last year, and Chadwick died like before the Academy Awards.
Oh, okay.
So
I'm just still learning about Tosin. I thought for whatever reason, I thought he'd been around for a little bit longer, like a couple years.
No, he's like so recent, like, but it feels like a couple years because like 2022 was like a long year when it came to comics for me, just because like there's so much stuff they're putting out, man. It was hard to keep up with, and I mean, I remember watching like, he's a cool character, man, and he just doesn't like. I don't know. I feel like they're trying to do too much with like the whole, Black Panther's like gone, so we have to make like a new Black Panther, and it's like now that there's so much like corporate kind of like push into Marvel and writing, it's like, are you gonna see more like MCU like pitched characters into like the comics we're reading? And if that holds true, there's no like real independent like creativity, it's going to be really annoying for like collectors and readers in the next like few years or whatever, in my opinion. So dude, I want to ask you, when we were kind of thinking about a show to do, and you said, or we kind of came up with this idea, was it tough for you to come up with the 5 or 7 books to like come up with?
Yes and no. I mean, so I more or less went with the books that some of them have like just sentimental value to me. Some of them are just purely for they're just purely monetary as well. Like some of them,
yeah.
I mean, I don't have anything that's like crazy expensive, but
yeah,
I've got some decent books that I enjoy. Because there's like stuff I left off of the list too. Like I've got one of those copies of the was it X-Men 221 that I had signed by Claremont.
X-Men 221.
First Sinister. I have one of those. I'm just kidding. I have one of those in a newsstand that it would be tough for me to get rid of, only because it's a book that I thought I had lost it,
yeah,
and actually still had it. And that was, I believe, one of the first books that my brother and I went halves on and bought together.
Oh, sweet!
Like off of the rack. So it was like, whatever they cost, it was like, oh, I'll chip in $1 something, you chip in $1 something, and we'll buy it. So that would be a tough one for me to sell. Just because
you're bro, man. Yeah. Fuck yeah. Yeah. And that was kind of the purpose of the book or the list. I think obviously and I've had conversations with you about this, like kind of behind the scene or just like text messages, like you'll be like, hey, like, do you think this is like a good buy? And I'm like, oh man, I don't even know what the spec is on that. And that's my first inclination when you text me something. And then you'll say like, no, I mean for like reading. I'm like, oh, sorry, I didn't even think of that, but that's where my head is lately. But now I also now I think like, oh, I should really be looking out for like good reads and like, maybe go to forums like Discord or, any other different resources that people are like, oh, they suggest something to actually read and open and not just look at the cover, and all that good stuff.
Yeah, I'm trying to get, I'm two books deep in that Silver Surfer Ghost Light right now. I got to get the third one, and I don't know if they've had the fourth one come out yet. But so far I've been enjoying reading that one.
Yeah.
Especially because it's a weird story because they're bringing back a character that's like way old, like he appeared back in the 60s or 70s or something like that, but then just like disappeared.
Yeah,
and now they're bringing him back, so it's been interesting so far. Hopefully, it stays good.
I've been reading a lot of AWA. I think it is. They have this one. It's not. It's like a comic. It's a comic, but it could be like a movie. I feel like it's called like shoot. It's basically about this lady. She's like a corporate lawyer, and she cheats on her husband. And the guy he's like a serial, like he basically like he sways his like himself onto like corporate attorneys or like corporate CEOs and CFOs, and then he basically blackmails them. So he's like a serial like it's like a serial like he basically forces females of power to like to basically have sex with them or cheat on their husbands with him, and then he blackmails them. So it's like corporate like not espionage, but like she basically like blackmails them and anyway. But I those are like kind of the stories I've been reading, not so much like comic book like, and then like the dark stuff. Like I like the Dark Ride series, that's pretty good. Hell to Pay has been pretty fun. So I've been kind of leaning towards like Image or like independent Congressman. Yeah, basically, yeah, that's what it is. It's pretty cool. It's it's like you could probably buy it for like $5 for the whole series, but like I was like, oh man, this is kind of like good stuff. But yeah, I've been reading like kind of like those darker like kind of stories and like
I got into I'm 2 books into that Spawn Unwanted Violence too.
They're pretty good.
I need to get the couple of those. It's interesting. I'm trying to see where they're going with it because it's a little all over the place for the first 2 books. Like I'm hoping that it kind of, like I said, I think there's 2 more out that I haven't read that I got to pick up and read.
Yeah, and that's what
I really wish there was a way that like some of these, because like a lot of the apps that I have, it just takes forever for them to get the books on there. Because like sometimes it's like, at least with my work schedule and stuff, it's hard for me to get into the store to actually pick them up. So I'm just like, I wish it would just show up digitally so I could read the damn thing. It's like,
yeah, like work for me too. Like all the LCSs around here in Edmonds, Linwood, Seattle area, they're open at like noon and they close at like 6. So it's like, but like on Sundays, like they're open at noon. So I mean, there's that. But like, who wants to drive all the way to Shoreline Sunday? Not me. So anyway, going into the slides, Jason, I started off these books. They're yours first, and then we'll get into mine.
I'm not even sure which ones you picked out of my list. You were like, oh, give me 5, and I think it spat out like 8 or something like that. I was like, well, here you go, just pick and choose.
I think I put them all on. So
I only have a couple of them pulled. Some of them I don't have. Like, they're not on.
Yeah, I don't think we need to worry about that. I mean, it's not like people are going to call us out for not having. Hey, what's up, Renee? Let's see here. Thanks for joining, Renee. So yeah, comics we're talking about today. I was just kind of thinking about this, and if comics are beginning to go back to the collector type, in my opinion, versus flippers to flippers, which has been happening a lot lately, and kind of pushing people out of the hobby, honestly. But the question I brought up to Jason is: if your house was on fire and your family was safe, what books would you save? Well, we know what we would save. Here's what our list looked like. Anyway. So Jason, I started with ASM 300. A few notes here. Arguably the modern comic best comic ever. Todd McFarlane cover. It's Spider-Man. It's 300. A new villain that almost you could say in some cases that people are reading more Venom than they are Spider-Man. There's a shitload of copies in newsstand and direct. However, supply versus demand is like 2-to-1 in my opinion. I don't know anyone that wouldn't take this book for like $100. Last sale I saw was 8.5 for $700. Jason, why did you pick this book in particular?
So I picked this one just because for me, and this was one of the characters, one of the artists that I grew up on. Like you'll see with my list, like I like a lot of the older like artwork. So a lot of my books are like 90s or older. But yeah, just the classic McFarlane cover. As you know, this one I did get signed, and I have the I've got the newsstand cover. I've got the newsstand version of it too. So
here, let me do solo layout real quick. Hold on.
And got it signed by Mr. McFarlane as well. It's a 9.0 newsstand, very pretty.
Yeah, I mean, but, you know that the 8.5 went for 700, and that wasn't signed. So yeah.
I mean, it's just one. I mean, I'm not like selling it or anything like that. This is probably obviously these are the ones that I'm like saving just in case, but or just in general. But it's more of a display item. Like that one was always one of my like nicer books.
Yeah, and I'm sure, like, I don't remember seeing this when I was a kid. I just don't for some reason. I don't know. I think my focus was more on like Top Cow when I was like actually reading books like hardcore, or when I first started reading books, which is for whatever reason. I've never pulled the trigger on this book. I almost bought this book in Florida when I was on vacation and at Disney World. Nice. Florida has some really cool comic stores. What did you say?
Treat yourself.
Yeah, treat yourself. But dude, I would have paid like $1,100 for a newsstand that was like probably like a 6.0, if that. And it was like in Florida, right? So it's pretty humid over there. You don't really know. But no, I mean, yeah, man. And again, this list is like our favorite books for like 1,000 different reasons. And it's kind of a mix of like monetary value, right? And like personal, like, oh, this just hits for me, that kind of thing. So
like granted, it's one of those like it's been homaged so many damn times. It's freaking like all that stuff. So it's just like at a certain point you kind of get like sick of looking at it. But I was just kind of like I had to break it out of the box that was like buried over there real quick. I was just like, oh. But yeah, it's just one of those ones that I personally like to have.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I'll tell you, to be honest, like I would never pay money for that book, just personally me. And the reason being is it's too expensive in my opinion. And good Kaji, I hope you like my list. But more so like I only got into Venom like with the Donny Cates run. So I feel like I'd be like kind of a cop out if I bought it like that book. And that's always gone through my head whenever I've thought about acquiring it. It's like I feel like I'm copping out and just like following the crowd. So but yeah, no, good pick, man. I like it. It's a nice one. That was a clean copy, dude. I was surprised you got 9.0, honestly, when you show me the grade, but it is what it is, man.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple like I can see them here. There's just like maybe 2 little small, slightly color breaking ticks on that.
But that price you paid and a 9.0 signed, like, fuck yeah, man, that's nice.
Yeah.
I
mean, I would never pay what it's worth now.
Yeah. Yeah, and you don't have to. I mean, that was like a grail for you anyways, which is the best, right? You don't really care, you just want it. So your next pick was Werewolf by Night 1 and 32. 32 being first appearance of Mr. Moon Knight.
The Moonanites.
The Moonanites. When you texted me WWBN, I was like, what does that mean? What does WWBN? And I was like, oh my gosh.
Did you type it in?
No. I was like, what is wrong with me? Like, I can't think right now. And then I was like, oh, duh, Werewolf by Night. And
whatever. It's like, what would Bobby?
yeah. Is that Is that what the kids say? You know, that
Yeah.
kind of thing. So Werewolf by Night 32's dipped quite a bit. I think everyone knows that, down to 2K. Number one, I feel is actually like that's kind of a premium in my opinion, especially in this market. 9.0 went for 900. I don't know what your grades are on these books. I just kind of went for what I saw. But yeah, bro, take it. Take it.
I don't actually know what the grades are on them yet.
That's okay.
These were those ones that I think I discussed them with you and kind of told you what the defects were on them. And you were kind of like, yeah, like maybe send them somewhere just in case. Cause like, remember I told you the 32 is gorgeous, but an owner along the way did put paper down and trace the werewolf. So there was lines in it. So I had to, and so hopefully it comes back. I'm worried though. I'm thinking it's going to come back at best green label.
Oh, because there's like marker on it.
Yeah. From what I've gathered, I think that they traced it with a non-water soluble ink. So to clean it off to get rid of it completely would basically fade the area, and I would get a restored grade anyways.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping I'll just get a green that says like ink on cover.
Yeah.
As opposed to a restored grade, because it's just like it's stupid that they would consider that a restore. It's like no, if anything, you're just degrading the value of it.
Yeah, that does suck, man. I'm sorry. Let's see here.
But like I said, but it's a book for me. It's not. I'm more or less like worried about the appearance of it than anything else. But the Werewolf by Night one, apparently that was like. The guy was like, yeah, he's like, I had to take like a magnifying glass to it to like make sure. He's like, because the cover was so glossy on it. He's like, I had to make sure. He's like, I thought it was a facsimile. He's like, I had to like look at it up close. So I was like, maybe that one's going to come back with a good score then. So
yeah,
it could even out.
Yeah, and if anyone has like Jason, and I would say like me, but more so Jason, you're like a huge like the old school monster like horror type like stories and like comics and all that. From what we've talked about, like what you did, you're definitely in the Werewolf by Night, the Moon Knight, the like the darker like Halloween type characters, right?
Yes. Well, and so Werewolf by Night, the number one, they actually the artwork and the end credit scenes for the Disney Plus show that they did or special was inspired by Werewolf by Night 1.
Oh, yeah, right. That's right.
So it's got a slight tie-in.
That Bloodstone one has gone down quite a bit in price. It's like $350 to $400. I was pitching that big time last year at that price.
The booty cover?
The booty cover. Yeah. Would you pick that up at 400? That's I'm going off topic right now, but I
like that cover.
I like it too. It's a good character, and she's a heroine too. So cool, man. You kind of sent this one to me like, hey, could you throw this one in? So I threw it in for you, man. I love like when you showed me Jason showed me this cover, and like I had to like take a look at it when I was pressing it just to be like, man, imagine being like a 12-year-old and seeing this cover, and just like the sheer like art on this cover, like it's probably my top 3 favorite X-Men covers. Because like back then, like they would do the character on the cover, you know, and then like kind of a little snippet, like this is the Blob, or enter Sandman or whatever, and the way they did this, it makes the Sentinel look just so like intimidating, and like you just cannot escape it, like I love it. He looks small because like when I was introduced to the Sentinel, it was like in the for us it was like the cartoon, right?
Yeah.
And the video game. Remember the arcade game? You could take like Wolverine would like stick his like whatever into him. The video game was kind of BS though, because like they were small, right? They were like little dudes. You know what I mean? They were like the same size. With the cartoon, they were like big ass robots, right? Mm-hmm. I would buy this book all day for like $100 to $200. A 2.0 sold for $300, which I was like, that'd be nice. Like for a PC, like burn your house down type of book. I would like this, but what is this? Why'd you choose this one for?
Oh, so this is just it's as you know, it's personally one that I own.
Hmm.
And it's just I really love the artwork on it. Classic Jack Kirby art, written by Stan Lee.
Yeah.
So you get two of the best like to ever do it like together.
Hmm.
First Sentinels, which is has one of the more longer lasting X-Men villains. I think like only Juggernaut, Magneto, Scarlet Witch, Quicksilver, I think they were the only ones introduced prior to,
Yeah.
and the Blob.
Hmm.
Well, at least like as far as their major villains,
Yeah.
because there's like other minor ones in there too. But yeah, it's just one of those like just classic books that uh, is one of the many initial X-Men books that I would like to have. Like I said, there's more that I would like to, but they're just so
Yeah.
crazy expensive that it's kind of like bide your time and get them when you can.
Yeah. And like, dude, this is like the 14th book in the series. Like, I feel like those classic, well, I guess in Uncanny X-Men, anything 1 through 50 is like that's what you should, aim ASM 2 1 through 50 if you if you can, afford it. Like those are the books like that'll hold value forever, and you want to get slabbed because they will fall apart. Like I bet a 2.0 that sold for 300 is like not in the best condition, but it probably still holds true to that cover. And
Yeah.
he's drawn so well onto the cover too. I think it's a great cover to slab too. Is that it in front of you right now?
Yes. So unfortunately, mine like not that I care because it's more eye appeal and it's like the best grade that you can get for it. But mine's it did come back a restored grade because they did trim a little bit of the edge,
Oh,
and cleaned up the staples on it.
dude, set point.
Uh,
That's not bad, man.
7.0 restored, and well, and it's slight A1, which is like they use the best material. It's so like minimal done. So
Yeah.
I'm just like whatever, man. That's basically um, a solid thing,
Yeah.
a solid score for it. So I'm just like, yeah, that's good.
How much did you pay for that? If you mind me asking?
That one I won in it was like shit, that was one of the like when I first started getting back into collecting, I won that in a mystery pull. So I think I got it for like 200 maybe.
Dude, 200. Okay, so um even if it's restored, man, like here's my thing about restoreds. If it's a high grade and you get a 5 point bump from like the last sold, dude, that's a good value in all honesty. Like
Yeah,
because
and with this, like basically I just to determine the value of that, I basically take like whatever a 7.0 would sell for and cut it in half or like 40% of that cost or something like that, roughly.
I think even 30 to 40% is like a good like gauge. That's a really good idea. And
But
like,
I'm not trying to sell it either. So like
yeah,
that's
because so it's like you're kind of like, I mean, when you're talking about like what's a good deal, you have to think about like, oh, what's a good deal if I can sell this in 10 years, or like in your case, what's a good deal if I want to present this, I just want to look at the cover and this for $200 for like a restored book and it's slabbed. You have a guarantee that's slabbed. It's a 7.0 for an Uncanny X-Men 14. And yeah, granted, it's restored. They cut it. They made it cleaner. Whatever. Um, I feel like in the next few years that when people are still trying to find like deals and like the market and all, I feel like restoreds are going to be viewed differently. Like that 40% like marked down, it could go to 35 to 30 or maybe even 20% as the market kind of continues. Because honestly, like if I had my choice between a 300 2.0 that's not restored versus a $700 or a 7.0, a 5 point bump for like 200 to 300, I'll go with that restored all day.
mm.
Because I'm looking at it, I'm not reading it. I don't really care about the story behind it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, in books like this too, like people are buying them to hold on. People are buying them to basically like have. They're not buying them to flip. So it's like
Yeah.
that's what I'm more concerned with is like, yeah, sure, I got a restored grade, but it's like the highest grade of restore you can get. It's freaking A1.
Yeah.
And slight.
Yeah.
So basically, yeah, it's just kind of more for eye appeal.
It's Dahama. I don't know. That's a great question. CGC BGS, like I feel like they're grasping at nuggets now just because of the acquisition from Blackstone of CGC specifically. They got to be consistent, and I think it's a tough thing. I think they should just leave it status quo. But that's a great question. I'm not sure. All I know is that come May 1st, the prices for Comic Grain are going to go up a little bit, and I'm not shocked by it. They did make some quality control changes, and the submission time is a lot better. And magazines, oddly enough, are 60 days now. So we're really trying to push not push, but we're really trying to focus more on the OTR show on magazines, which will be interesting. Before we get into your last slide here, I just want to say thanks to everyone who got 12 live on a Sunday morning. Thank you so much for joining us. Jack's one times, what's going on? And if you guys are not in this channel, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you could, I'd really appreciate it. Oh God, that bell's so loud. But yeah, I really do appreciate you guys chiming in with us and all that good stuff. We do this on Sundays to just kind of chill out and have a good time. Pretty chill show. So Monster Frankenstein #1. I have no idea. I didn't know what to say about this one. So go for it.
Oh, so yeah, this is basically the first appearance and origin of the Frankenstein monster within the Marvel comics. Some people will say that it's X-Men #40, but that was revealed to be an android when it was all said and done. This is another Mike Plug artwork. I think I've got a number of his covers on here. But yeah, this is just one of those ones, like, I mean, I'm a big horror nut, so anything I can find that's anything to do with the horror aspect of stuff, whether it's movies or comics, I tend to gravitate towards those, and that hence my love for Plug art, because he did a lot of that stuff. He was like doing the artwork for like Marvel Premiere when Ghost Rider was on there and stuff like that. So it's just kind of like, I just really like his style of artwork for like back when he was doing it.
What's the Plug like modern Grail? Isn't there like a Moon Knight or like a Plug something?
Well, Plug did that Werewolf by Night one cover too.
Oh, that's the one I'm thinking of.
And I believe he did the artwork for Marvel Premiere 5 and most of those ones back, but I'm not 100% sure.
I think you're right.
I don't remember if he did the cover of Ghost Rider 1 or if it was Marvel Premiere 5.
Okay. Cool.
But yeah, so I got that, and I got that one in a 9.4 slab.
Oh, snap.
I haven't really seen anything much higher than that when I've been looking, but yeah, really clean for a 1973 book.
Yeah, dude. Nice. Cool. That's really cool. Oh, I got two more for you. You snuck these ones in for me too, so I'll just let you take it away.
Oh yeah, I'll just go over these real quick. Obviously, like there's nothing really special about the Incredible Hulk 340. It's just a classic Todd McFarlane cover art. There's no like story behind it or anything like that. I actually have that one in a raw sitting here. This is actually this is probably one of the cleaner copies I've ever seen like in person. So I'm hope that might be a 9.8 or it's a good candidate for it. And then I got this one here, which is the ASM 238. I got that one in a newsstand with tattoos.
With tattoos, people. Very important with the tattoos.
Yeah, only defect I can tell, there's a slight little chunk of the, like a tiny little chunk of the corner missing, but the book is pretty flawless. I'm not too worried about that. It's just something like you don't notice it at all unless you like completely have like look for it. So, but yeah, first appearance of Hobgoblin, a classic Spider-Man villain. But
and why did you choose those two?
They were sitting here, and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot I just got those ones, because they're definitely ones that I would grab. Like you had said, like if there was a fire, like I'm grabbing those as well.
Yeah. Cool.
But yep.
So yeah, so Jason's got some pretty classic ones. I think everyone knows Jason's books. Good stuff, man. I like it.
I'm gonna run to the restroom real quick before you start with yours.
Okay. Yeah. Go for it, man. It's all good. Right. Yeah. Well, Jason goes number 2.
Yep.
He's like, yep. I'm gonna go too. No, just kidding. I don't know what to say. Just kidding. I'm curious in the chat, like, what if there was like one book that you guys would run out with in a burning house? What would you guys choose? Do you like Jason's picks? I thought they're all great. He had a really good kind of take on reasonings and all that good stuff. But yeah, curious what you guys think as well. And my list is a little bit more. There's a lot more independence in my list because I think I really gravitate towards the indies. When I say indies, like the Image like books, kind of back then. I have a lot more new. I have newer ones. Jason's like very bronze, and I think you got some silver too, Jason, but I can't really remember. But definitely, his is very heavy in bronze, and mine were a little bit more modern. Just because I haven't had a chance to really delve into bronze stuff lately that I really think I want. So anyway, I'll start my list.
Yeah, because I'm on the cusp of I'm in the midst of dealing for another grail that I've been trying to acquire. So
yeah,
little New Mutants 98.
Okay.
But it's a pretty clean copy of it.
Yeah.
So, but
what should I call it? Hold on a second. Sorry. Okay, cool. Where are you? Okay. New Mutants 98. So if anyone has a New Mutants 98, hit Jason up. You guys can maybe work a deal. Oh, and real quick, I'm going to do a little bit of advertising. I got a bunch of books ending today on eBay. I got shelled last week. I had a Spider-Man 2099 second print 9.6 set go for $40. So anyway, if you guys want to just take my books away from me, here I will share my screen here real quick. Hold on a second. Application window. Where is it? Hold on. Hold on. Here is my books. Hold on. Let's see if that works.
Nope. That's Final Fantasy 7.
Okay, never. Hold on a second. You see it? eBay.
Nope. I see children peeking at me around that.
Oh, that's my nephew. Yeah. So, like, I have the Spider-Man Deadpool #2. It's the first Meet Miles for 9.4 for $2. It ends tomorrow, actually. So it doesn't end today, but and then I also have like there's these Dark Reign Hood #1 go 9.6 go for $1. I got a Swordmaster 9.6 going for $1. No one's lit on it. I'm curious to see what this does.
Swordmasters aren't like selling like I thought they would. Maybe it's just so popular in my head.
I know.
Like, I think why are people buying this stuff?
I think honestly, I'm biased, of course, but maybe we're just too soon to. Maybe we're just too soon. I don't know. That might be it.
They'll all be jealous when Shang-Chi 2 comes out and fucking Lin Lee is all up in that bitch.
I know. Hey, what up, Yi? Yi is the luckiest person when it comes to cards. I swear to God, he has like 17 like Julio like 1-of-1s. What up, Dicko? Is that Dickerson? I don't know if that's Dicko, but I'm grabbing my Star Wars and signed ASM 300 9.4. Wow, that's a flex. Nice. What's up, James? Not the most valuable, but probably my TS 101. It's probably the only book I own that's irreplaceable. What's TS 101? Oh my God, Jason, help me. TS 101. What is that?
What are you shouting at me? Sorry, I'm cleaning my glasses.
Oh, you're not paying attention to the show. That's great. One of our hosts,
so I can see.
One of our hosts doesn't care about the show, and he is an asshole. That's really great. And thanks for the support, Jason.
Yep, we're done.
Yep, we're done. First to call Oh, okay. TS 101. Got it. Okay. Cool. I like to know what your guys' your guys' Burning Fire books or Burning House Fire books are. So if you guys watch our show or like any show I'm on, I love this book. It hits for me for, 3 years away from way too. Oh yeah, and we probably are. I mean, honestly, like, we're way too soon for Swordmaster. I love the property. You guys have seen a bit, but so New Ages of Atlas. This hits like every category for me. Filipino heroine. The art is gorgeous on this particular cover. This is the trade dress. There's a virgin variant from a comic book store in the Philippines. So that hits that for me as well. It's a Filipino artist that did the cover of this book. And I bought this book kind of when I was going through a lot of just like sad stuff in my life. And, Jason talked about kind of his relationship with a family member. And this kind of hits the same way with me. I was going through just some dark times, and when I read about this book coming out, I just had to get it, and it was kind of my escape from just those bad times. I just look at this book and just be like, man, this art's so beautiful. It's so cool that my country's being represented in a hobby that I am kind of getting back into again, and I'll probably never sell this book. Jason, do you have this book as well, or no?
I do not have this one. Well,
okay.
Is that New Agents of Atlas 1?
Yeah, I mean, this is like a store variant, so you probably won't.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
I think I only have a couple copies of Agents of Atlas 2.
Oh, Brad, you're a funny man. Very funny.
What's a Swordmaster?
Yeah, what's a Swordmaster? Is that like Star Wars?
Who's talking about Conan?
And speaking of Swordmaster, New Ages of Atlas, the Ron Kim Lim variant. I got this actually signed by Mr. Ron Lim at SummerCon, which we'll be going to in June.
Dude, anyway. They keep dropping fire for that.
I know, man.
There's so many people at that. I'm just be like, I'm gonna be standing in line all the time.
I know. I'm gonna be like, yeah. I think Dickerson's gonna go too. So we'll have to dude, there's so many people that are not comic fans are going to that we may have to caravan with a bunch of people, but it'll be fun.
Why? Because it's like Saved by the Bell, 90210,
yes. Star Trek,
Saved by the Bell, 90210.
Dude,
Moff Gideon's in it now. Freaking
yeah.
Kingpin's gonna be there. Like
the guy who voiced all the Star Wars like Rebels, they're gonna be there, and I think the dude that voiced not Miles the movie, but like his series that he's in, he's gonna be there. So I know East Ellis nephews want to go.
Yeah.
You can let that rain. It's all good. So yeah, New Agents of Atlas variant. This is on deep discount. So if we are right, and I know you guys in the comic community, like you're buying Spider-Man 7, man. Like take a stab at this. I saw this go raw. I don't know the exact condition it was in. It's sold for $150. Now, if this hits and you get this in high grade, signed, whatever, CGC, whatever, it's gonna make you some decent money. I $150 raw. That's like ridiculous. Jason, would you buy this for 100? What would be your top like dollar amount you pay for this book? Being a
raw,
yeah,
I would buy it at that price. I mean, but I've seen like prices I've seen prices dip as low as to like $350, $400 for like 9.2s, like slabbed.
Oh, that's too much.
Totally clean up, huh?
That's too much. I would know. I'd pay like I'd undercut the mofo and I'd do like 200 for a 9.4.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm like that's too much. That's too much.
I've never bought this one, so.
John Smith, our resident Pokemon / anime like legend, is in the house. What's up, John Smith?
Dude, I was telling people at work, they were talking about anime, and I was just I was like, have you seen Ninja Scroll or Vampire Hunter D? And they're like, what? What's that? And I was like, what? I was like, all right, well, first of all, go watch them because they're awesome.
Marcus is in the house. Oh, we got some people over here. So James, honest question. I think it's only digital from what research I did, but that's a great question because I tried looking for the original Swordmaster in like Mandarin, whatever, and I can't. It's all digital from what I read. But if you find one, like hit me up. I will definitely buy that for sure. Hauser, what's going on, man? We're like an hour in, and now we got people coming through, which is awesome. I appreciate
I'm not quit. I'm Hauser now.
Ninja Scroll is old, bro. Dude, Ninja Scroll is like,
but it's classic.
It's so classic.
Like you don't really see many you don't really see many of the newer animes with that style of art anymore.
Dude, man, when you introduced me to anime back in the day, or maybe it was you or another buddy, but I remember going to Suncoast. Anyone in the chat, if you can remember Suncoast, we're gonna do a giveaway today at the end too. Suncoast Video is gonna be the secret word for the giveaway. So Suncoast Video. But I remember going to Suncoast Video, and this is like 95, 96, dude. Remember? And you'd go to Suncoast in the Aldwood Mall, and it'd be like $35 for like a freaking, anime, and they would never go on sale, and they could never keep them in stock. Do you remember that back in the day, dude?
Yeah.
Dude, I might throw something in. I don't know.
Just end the show that way. Be like, we're just gonna play them until they cut us off.
Yeah, dude. Look at Marcus wrote. He goes, "Y'all talk about Ninja Gaiden." Bring back Suncoast. Yeah, dude. Ninja Gaiden. They did like 14 different versions, but yeah.
The OG though. Remember they'd give you that like you would like run up and then you'd hit him with the sword, but it was like that long and it was like bam.
Yeah. That was a badass game though. If you're trigger happy, like sword stuff, like that was a good game. So yeah, I got this autograph. I got 9.8. I bought 9.4 for like $220, and I was really happy. And it's just gonna sit there. I did the cover. There's a lot going on in it, but it's just my favorite book. I think our favorite book, arguably right now, is Swordmaster, and this is first appearance. You always want first appearance, first issue, so that's why I will bring it with me. And kind of going back, Top Cow type stuff. So, Jason, before I get into this, did you ever read this book and you know what it's about?
The Darkness?
Yeah.
No, I believe they turned this into the video game, correct? Yeah. I believe I played that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I did not read these.
Read the books?
Yeah, I think the only Top Cow book that I have is a triple signed Siphon 1.
Triple signed Siphon 1. Huh.
Yeah.
So this was like the book that I would run and like save my lunch money for, and I'd read the hell out of it. If you don't know what The Darkness is about, it was a video game. They did 2 series about it or of it. It was like what's cool about this Darkness series, it intertwined with Witchblade, which is another popular heroine, which I read too. Witchblade was done by the late Michael Turner, rest in peace. And this book was done by my 2 favorite comic artists, writer combos like ever. Hell, I've had several collections over my life. Currently, I have 8 long boxes I've been collecting in the past. I won't reacquire keys and classic covers I've had at their current prices. That's awesome that you don't have to reacquire them, right? It's you're actually a true collector, which is great. Love it, Daniel. But what was I saying? So Witchblade was the good part, or a good part of the world in Top Cow, and then Darkness was like the bad part. And the Darkness, Jackie Estacado was a hitman. He was like the best hitman in the mafia or whatever, and he acquires the Darkness power. I won't really go into the huge details about it, but my dad was is a huge Godfather fan, and so everything mafia at like a very young age I was very into. So that's kind of why I got into this. And then Mark Silvestri, he's one of my probably like number 1 or 2 favorite artists of all time. And then Garth Ennis, like this was my first introduction to Garth Ennis. So if you like Garth Ennis stuff and you want to find like an early Garth Ennis book to read that's cheap, this is not spec at all, but there are rumors that there's going to be like a series, which it kind of makes sense with kind of the background mafia and all that. But this cover particularly, this was like the one of the first variant covers of Top Cow in general. I'm sure there's a bunch for Witchblade, but this cover is a tough grade in 9.8. I have a 9.4 signed by Garth Ennis, and it's still like a quote unquote like a key for me. Like I always want his autograph in general, because when's the last time Garth Ennis came over to this side of the pond to sign a book? You know what I mean? Like once. He's only signed once with VGC. Sick. Yeah.
it seems like they're letting them do like remote signings now too. Because didn't Delato do one like remotely?
I don't. Maybe that'd be cool. More money for them, right? I wonder how they would do that though, like with like going to England and well, Delato's where he's from, Italy, Italian. Is he Italian? Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I remember when I
send like a rep out or something like that. I'd imagine it's not going to be any. They couldn't do like say a McFarlane sized signing.
way.
He had to do like three fucking. He had to do at least three, right?
Yeah. So yeah, Baltimore. He's never come. I've never seen him on the West Coast before. He never comes this side or whatever. But when he was when they announced CGC, I bought this book right away because I have an old one, but it's in bad grade, so I had to get it signed. So anyway, this just is like definitive of my start hardcore into reading comic books. That's why I keep it. And I mean, Spawn #1, 9.8, like signed. I got this signed at the Todd McFarlane signing this past year, and I will not sell this book. It will go down to whoever wants it. I don't think I'd ever sell it unless, like, you know, I really had to. It's great art. Obviously, you guys all know about it. Last one I saw signed, this may be inaccurate, but I saw one go for 300 recently. It was just a regular old, you know, it wasn't a newsstand. But Jason, I know you have a Spawn #1 somewhere, right?
Yeah, I got two of them. I'm not quite as fancy as you with the 9.8, but
well, you know, I
think I have a 9.6 signed in the direct and a 9.4 signed in the newsstand.
Oh, okay, cool. And the legend himself, Ultra Maximus, is in the house. The greatest FOC channel you will ever see. If you're not following, which I'm sure 100% of you are following Mr. Ultra Maximus, please do so on Instagram, but more so his YouTube shows are amazing. Thank you for joining, man. CGC has a form that you can fill out to qualify for Signature Series label if there isn't a witness. Oh, that's kind of cool. And Ultra always getting the dude. Ultra will mention like his newsstand like collection. Like he has a Danger Girl too, and like I'll be like, where the hell did you get that? Or like even it's awesome. But anyway,
I found I just the other day found my. I don't know if you remember this book, but Pit #1 that I bought off of the little spindle rack when I was a kid.
Oh, dude! See, that's this type
I still have one of those.
That's the type. This is the reason we're doing the show is because like this is our spindle rack like series basically, right?
Yeah, I was like, oh man, I thought I lost this thing, and I like pulled it out and read it again. I was like, yeah.
Dude, when back in the 90s when we were in high school and I was collecting comics. I don't think I remember telling you I collect comics, but Chromium was like huge. Like it was such a like when I think of like covers today versus like back then. Like Chromium was like cards, Chromium, comics, Chromium. Everything was chrome. Bikes were chrome, whatever. And so I loved Chromium covers. And I fell in love with Avengers like forever because of this book. I was talking about Mark Silvestri and Garth Ennis being my like favorite combo artist and writer ever. These guys are actually my favorite combo and writer ever. Classic Avengers. Like Avengers wasn't like really big. I remember when I was getting back into books and stuff. Yeah, Exo Manowar and Bloodshot. I don't know who doesn't love Chromium, honestly. And Ultra. Oh, dude, like always, man. You're the best, dude. We appreciate your work. You're appreciated over here on the West Coast for sure. But yeah, classic Chromium cover. I could read the series like trade paperback 1 through 50 like all day. Some people don't really dig the series that much. It was just for me like in high school and kind of like, you know, dealing with like the drama of high school and stuff. Like this was my escape as well. I sent this in to get signed by George Perez and then they stopped the signing, but I said, hey, I still want to get it graded. If I could just donate like $50 to George Perez's like, you know, foundation or like his family, like you could take it from me. And I got 9.8, which I was pretty happy about. This doesn't go for a lot of money, but this cover, you guys all probably know, but like the back, it's a what do you call it? It's like a full cover. So the back has art on it as well. And I mean, he just hits every character on this book, and it shines it presents so nice in a CGC slab also, which is why I picked it. Did you ever read this old school 99 series ever?
Yeah.
What did you think of it?
I thought it was really well done.
Yeah, it's fun, right?
Yeah,
old school
and the cover of this is that an homage to Cap's first appearance with the Avengers? I can't tell. There's one that's a white. There's one that's a white cover where he's posed similar to that. I want to say it's like not his first book, but it's like I think it's his first appearance in the new costume with the team or something like that.
That's a deep dive I'm not aware of, but you might be right, man. I'm
not 100%.
Well, not, and now you're lying. So that's great. That's great, Jason. I shut down the show. Yeah, you're lying. I'm just kidding. I'm messing. Don't hurt me. Don't hurt me.
Fake news. Fake news.
Mr. Daniel Aslan, this is number 1 from the 99, 98 series. I honestly can't remember that whole, the actual, if anyone in the chat, probably Ultra knows or Aaron or Yeezy. But this is the Chromium number 1 version of the late 90s series. I can't remember the exact year it came out, but it's like the 4th or 5th series. For me, it was the first series of Avengers I ever read. So like back then, I didn't really know there was like 8 or 7 volumes of a book. I just thought, oh, they're just restarting the, I didn't think of volumes back then. So, and good Kaji. I do have that Darkness number 11 in 9.4 signed. I'll never get rid of that one either. I think the year that book came out, that was the most heavily ordered book of the year. For all you Chromium nerds out there. And I think I kind of went heavy in the early 2000s and like late 90s because that was like where I was really like had some money. I was working Toys R Us back in the day, and I had some money like kind of like used to buy comics. And Century number 1 was like one of my other favorite books. I think it hit me a little more reading it as an older adult because I didn't really understand like the struggle he was going through. He's a broken dude, man. Like the story of him and how the Jay Lee art's really good in this book. The story, oh my god, who wrote this book? Jeff Lemire did the 3rd or 4th series. I cannot remember. Oh my god, is that the Liefeld volume? On the Avengers, no. It was Perez did I think that whole series up to a point. I can't remember though. Oh my god, I can't remember who wrote this series. Paul Jenkins. He wrote this series. Jason, have you read this miniseries of the Century? Yeah. What'd you think of it, man?
I thought it was good. I even enjoyed this is the older one, correct? There's a newer one.
This is the OG
like
one.
A 5 or 6 book series too.
It's always like a 5-6 series with these Century books, but yeah, this is the first series in general.
Yeah. Because I read both of them because I don't have this one, but okay. I've got the other one, like the more colorful where he's like in the orange suit on the front cover. Like I've got that series.
Orange suit with the front cover. Who wrote it?
I'd have to go digging through it. I'd have to go digging through it. He almost looks like Aquaman on the front cover.
Oh, that must be
where it's like it's just him big and bright.
Yeah, and he's like this.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the Jeff Lemire series. That's my. I don't know if that's my favorite series, but that's when he the fourth issue he becomes the Void. He merges with the Void.
Yeah.
That okay, like if I were to like just tweet at Marvel every day, I would be like, bring back the Void, bring back the Century, bring back the Void, and then whatever. He was ripped apart, and suppose he's back. Rishi told me about he's back in some issue, but I want him back like his own series. Like I don't want I want to see him. I want to read about him again because like that character is just so different, man. When I said Noel is like one of my like favorite characters that I watched, from back in the day. But this is like another book that I'll read. Like I'll read every Century series. I love all of them. Anyway, so Tough and High Grade 9.8. I have yay. And that's all their books that I had. I had a couple more, but I didn't want to go over forward and all that stuff. But yeah, kind of a fun show. I lately there's been a lot of I think infusion and like where do we go? Like, why is there like 4 million Star Wars characters? Like, Kanan was so good. The Mandalorian didn't end very well. I mean, like the last episode was kind of bleh. You know?
Do you think that was the? Do you think that was a secret series finale? There's speculation of that.
It's over.
That might have been a secret series finale.
What do you mean? I don't get it.
Like they might not be doing more Mandalorian seasons.
Oh yeah, I 100% think they're
like
done.
They might be done. My buddy was like, "Well, what about like they can't?" And this, not I'm like, "Well, it's not like they can't use those characters and other properties. Like,
yeah,
they've already. I mean, they still have a new season of Book of Fett. They still have Ahsoka. They have like all these other shows that you can tie Grogu and Din into, and all this and that. Like you can like Bo-Katan's obviously going to have her like own little thing probably going forward.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like, yeah.
I went yesterday. I went hunting for some flash books and hold on, giveaway wheel. And the dude I went to, he's like, "Oh, you ready for season 4?" I'm like, "What season 4 are you talking about?" And he's like, "Season 4 of Mandalorian." I go, "Did they announce it? Because I heard that was the last one." He's like, "Oh, well, they said that they're going to do another one." I'm like, "Who's they?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "Well, you know they." I'm like, "Yeah, Marvel, like Disney. Who said they? Who said it?" Because like from when I read that was the last one, but I mean, my sources may not. Did you read it somewhere? You couldn't give me a source, so.
Well, because like I know that what's it called? They with the movie announcements and then bringing back Daisy Ridley to play Rey, but like 15 years after I think they said
Oh my God.
of the last one. I was like,
yeah.
Well, actually, I kind of want to see what they're doing with it because from what I can tell, she might be trying to rebuild the Jedi Order, and that's somewhere where you can bring Grogu in and tie him into that world as well if you wanted to have them going forward. Just an option, Marvel, if you guys are listening, which you're not.
They're not listening, Jason. I tell you every time, they're not listening. We're not that big.
Or is it? I don't even know who owns it. Is it Disney? Is it Marvel? Is it like which company, which big ass company that's in that conglomerate is the actual head of it?
ESPN.
Yeah. That's ABC.
Do you want to do a giveaway? Do you want me to do one? I don't even know what to give away today. Did you give away that Swordmaster book?
No, I still have it here. I've got another Swordmaster too.
Okay, Jason's gonna give away a couple Swordmaster books.
Yeah.
If you want to be part of the giveaway, and
I've got that, and I've got this.
You want to give that away? Swordmaster 9?
I mean, I can if you want.
If you want to do it,
or I can do the number 1. Don't matter.
Either it's up to you. All right. We're gonna do a giveaway. Hold on a second. What was the hashtag? What was the I was gonna use? What is it?
For what?
Remember, I was like saying, "Oh, we're gonna use that as the hashtag for the giveaway today." Earlier.
Oh, was it Suncoast Video?
Suncoast, yes.
Suncoast.
Yeah. Okay, Daniel. Can you name off the people for me?
Daniel so far.
Got it.
Hauser.
Cosmic One. Surprised Renee's on.
Mojo Quid.
Oh, Mojo's in the. I said I'm surprised Renee's on in this.
Guy McLeod.
Yeah.
Good Kaji.
And if you guys could smash that like button, I really appreciate it, and subscribe and tell all your friends and da. We'll do bigger giveaways so we have more people.
Robert Haskell.
I got 7 people so far.
Oh, Southpaw. Sorry.
I
was like going through. I was like going back up. I was like, who did I miss so far?
Anyone else?
I don't know if Wheelchair Superhero is wanting to.
Oh, what's up, hi. Wheelchair?
He said hi, but we can throw him in it if he wants.
I put him in there. Yeah, it's all good.
I think that's everybody.
Okay, cool.
I don't know if they stopped coming in. My screen stopped updating, so I'm assuming we got everybody that wants in.
Hold on, I'm trying to find this. shit. Okay, hold on. Okay,
John Smith's in now. But
okay, cool,
Ultra and Yi said that they'll let other people win.
Okay. I'm gonna put this link in. Okay. If anyone was watching the hold on before I do this. Okay, I'll do it later. Oh, I'll put Ultra in there.
Oh. I don't know if he might have been saying me too to Yi letting somebody else win. Unless he wants in. Don't matter.
Ultra, do you want in? I'll put him in there and then whatever.
Oh, Wheelchair says he's just here to support. So
no, man, you're in the giveaway, dude. You're
either
good.
way. Which one are we doing? The 1 or the 9?
It's up to you, man.
Don't matter.
Up to you. Up to you.
I don't care. We can do both if you want. Doesn't matter to me. No,
just do 9 because that's a good one.
Do 9.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Good luck, everybody. I'm gonna shuffle real quick. And again, if you guys could smash that like button, subscribe, tell your friends, all this stuff. We would both really appreciate it. And thanks for joining us today, guys. That really means a lot. Oh, Ultra. All right, Ultra. If you are follow Pickles Nichols too, Jason, right? Or you can hit me up too on the giveaway or for that giveaway of the Swordmaster 9 first appearance in that bad boy. That's probably one of my favorite books in the whole entire series because it's the first appearance of his bro in the last kind of panels. It's really cool, but I'm gonna do this real quick. We may get canceled, but let's see. Hold on a second. So I was watching the Ryan Garcia fight. I don't know if anyone watched it yesterday, but it was totally random how he got knocked out, and then they did slow mo. Anyway, this is what someone tweeted on Twitter. This is Ryan Garcia. Dude, I was watching that for like an hour on repeat.
Sometimes those body shots take a minute to catch up to you.
I know, but dude, that guy tweeted like Ryan Garcia after the Gervonta fight, and then he's like, "Oh damn, oh," it's so funny. But yeah, dude, he got hit right in the liver, and then he's backing up, and then he's like, you could see his eyes. He keeps looking, and he's like, "Oh," and then he just fell. And you're paralyzed, man. You can't do anything about it. That was a crazy delay, man. And you know what, man? Like, good for him. He gave his kudos to Garcia, and like that's at the end of the day, like that's what I like about like real boxing is like these guys know, they're prize fighters, man. And I would.
Did they actually switch purses?
They didn't. I guess in the end.
Didn't they bet purse versus purse?
No, Gervonta actually and I'm a Gervonta fan now, dude. I knew he was a pretty good fighter, but I was like, oh man, he's kind of old. Like, I don't know if I'll follow him. But at the end, they asked him about that, and he said, no, we're gonna let him. No, it's his. Like, he's not gonna do that to him. He's not gonna do him dirty like that. So, but Gervonta, man, like he's got talent. Like he's what I wish like Mayweather was. Like, take shots here and there, but then like throw some, man, and like do a knockout. Like he's a good fighter, man. I think Garcia got in there like he was a little too wild. You could kind of tell he wasn't very technical. But I mean, Garcia's got talent too. He's young, man. He's only 21, and Garcia, good for you for like getting paid because he wasn't making like a ton of dough off fights necessarily, but good for him for like going after the belt, man, and all that good stuff. But anyway, that's it for the show. Jason, you got any closing thoughts at all or anything going on this week?
4 days of work, and then I got finishing up my Swamp Thing John Constantine tattoo on Friday.
Oh yeah.
Putting the color in that beast.
Sweet. Yeah. I don't really have anything going on. Oh, the Thursday night we have our OTR show. We're kind of leaning towards away from comic books, but I want to still kind of talk about it just to get a relevance of the market and stuff. But, I feel like our OTR show is more garnered towards like like Swordmaster, where we may be like 3 or 4 years away from some of these investments, or I don't want to say investments, but just like stuff and all that. But if you guys, really love your guys' support, just to let us know how we're doing. And it's a lot of interesting stuff that I think people should be in the know about. If you are a flipper or like a speculator in comics, like you'll learn a lot from the show too. It's not necessarily like comic related specifically, but Jason, what do you think of the show, of our OTR show? I know you popped in a few times, and guys in the chat.
No, I like it. I think it's a good dynamic of people and everything. And it's like, it's because sometimes you guys there's a lot of people on there, but it's not, nobody's like really, it's good chemistry because nobody's like stepping over each other. Like everybody's kind of like getting their own time. They listen to what everybody else has to say. Like it's very good that way. Cause like sometimes when you get a lot of people on together, it's like you might get people talking, like especially when you're doing it remotely, you get people talking over each other and stuff like that. Like you guys do a really good job at like truly like listening and stuff like that. Plus it's like, it's funny too.
yeah. Dude, last show, I'll end the show in a little bit, but the last show I put that picture of Jonathan Majors.
Yeah, where it's just like posed out. It's like what'd you get that out of? Like a friggin' Playgirl?
Yeah, dude. I was like, I don't ever I do the slides for the show, and I never tell the guys what like the slides are gonna be. I just ask like what they want to talk about. And I set it up, and like Trey wanted to talk about Jonathan Majors. Like Trey, I was like, he's either gonna be so pissed or he's gonna be like cracking up. And everyone thought it was so funny, but anyway. So, again, everyone have a great show. Thanks everybody for for participating in the giveaway. Ultra, either hit me up or Jason on Instagram. We'll get that out to you. We're signing off. Have a great Sunday. We will hopefully see you guys next week. And stay safe out there, stay warm, all that good stuff, and we'll see you next week.